So basically, I had this idea last night where I was thinking about what I enjoy doing, what do I enjoy working on, what I could see myself doing long term, sustainably. And I'm not really a gamer. I am a programmer, but I feel like coding on stream is pretty hard. I knew that I kind of wanted to stream. I watched some streamers. I think streaming is a pretty cool media thing, but it also creates a bit of a flywheel too. I think effect happens with streaming because you get the ability to save VODs and make videos out of them and stuff. Not that I plan on really video editing a lot, but anyway, here, wait, let me see. So if I show you, let's see, my website. Okay, let me switch the view. I only have one screen, so this is going to be kind of cringe for today. I'm really bootstrapping it right now. There's really no goal here. So the thing is, like, I blog a lot. I made all of these blogs. I write all the code for them. Some of these blogs have 3D elements in them. Other ones are like kind of like these graph things that I made, which you can kind of like scroll through and do stuff. And some are just videos. I find that this stuff is like really fun to make, but I think that in general, one of the things that I struggle with is how to stay consistent with it, especially when I'm a big proponent of running your own website, and I think that a lot of these social media aggregators, as we've actually seen in the news recently with Meta, now that they've changed their style to be a bit more Facebook-like, a lot of people are actually actively leaving, or making it more like TikTok. So they're actively leaving the platform because of the way that the content is now just being delivered as just any other entertainment platform. And these people kind of spend all this time building followers, to have them just get kind of yoinked out from under them by the changing flows in these social businesses. But at the same time, creating content is such a non-linear gain. Like, there's so much that you can do with content that really surprises you. And I think that I've seen that when people find my work on GitHub, or they'll send me an email, or they'll post a mean comment on Hacker News or YouTube or whatever. So while kind of like balancing all these things, where it's like I knew that as a developer, I of course wanted to own my own website because I would be able to have the most creativity, but I wanted to be able to really utilize all of these businesses' platforms as well, because I think that there's a lot to be said about how much work has gone into building things like Twitch and YouTube, and I spend so much time consuming them. It caused me a lot of cognitive dissonance. So I was playing around with the idea of how I could solve that cognitive dissonance, create content, do kind of what I want to do with my own website, grow at a rate that feels comfortable. I'm not really trying to everyone wants to quote unquote get huge, but I think it just depends on how true it is to yourself, and if you can imagine yourself doing it for a long time, and the type of game you're playing. There's short-term games and long-term games, to be sure. But I'm also a huge Obsidian nerd, right? I love personal knowledge management. I think it's super powerful. I think the stuff that you can do with Obsidian is absolutely crazy, and it's really goes to show you kind of what the future of note-taking is like. I really do think that Obsidian really pushes the boundaries of what it means to be a note. I've used it in my blog, the blog that I just showed, which I can show again. In the blog, all of these posts, when I come up with these titles and stuff like that, especially the ones that are kind of random, like investing in lighting did great things for my physical and mental health, you'll see like tweets and YouTube videos and pictures and just kind of just random, like with a weekend video. The reason is that I used Obsidian to find these things that I found interesting about a topic, and then I kind of just put them together. It's not really so much a thesis for a lot of these posts as it is a mosaic, I guess, a collection, a collage of different ideas that hover around a certain topic. And in Obsidian, let me see if I can. I'm actually starting off with a brand new graph, so it's gonna literally start from scratch. But over here we have this thing called the graph view, and you can see that there's nothing in here now. But if I added a note that says like, hello, and then right in here, hello world, and then link world over here, and then click this, click this. Okay, I'm on PC, and I usually do this on Mac. And then I can say like, the world is made up of stuff. If we look back at the graph view now, we see that hello and world are connected. And this is kind of what I was talking about, the distance between ideas. You start to do things that are really crazy. You start to search really fast, so you can kind of be like, open files, and there's a lot of plugins that I'm going to need to also install today, and a lot of today is going to be figuring out how to basically get PC Obsidian to look similar to what it looks like on my Mac, because I use it for everything. I use it for work, I use it for tracking my own life, I use it for different projects, I use it for things that like need to be tracked over a long period of time, like habits. It's just insanely useful, and different people find different levels of use out of it. I think it's one of those tools that's not really it's kind of niche. It takes a learning curve to get into, but the concept that I'm trying to get at, I think, with this go around to streaming, and maybe it'll fail. I mean, everything has the potential to fail. But I think the reason that this idea was so enticing to me was that I was really thinking about, again, like the kind of flywheel of content creation and the failings of my personal blog and the failings of things like Twitch, the failings of things like YouTube, and how I can ameliorate those failures. And the more that I thought about what might work and what might not work, I realized that they can kind of balance each other pretty well, right? So like the whole point of like a flywheel is to create something that ends up feeding itself, right? So like, again, with a lot of these posts here on my blog, you'll see that there's a lot of, again, pictures and text and ideas and tweets that I saved individually, but all became a part of a greater narrative. And this work is something that I just do normally. I'm kind of an internet geek. I spend a lot of time just trolling around the internet looking at shit. So being able to capture that stuff and put it in a place like Obsidian has proven vital to my workflow. I use it all the time. But then I realized, like, oh, well, in a way, it can kind of be entertaining in and of itself. I think especially, there's a lot of really cool YouTube creators out there these days, like Ordinary Things and Internet Historian and stuff like that, where basically they'll just deep dive into a topic, and you won't know it while you're watching, but like 45 minutes will go by. You'll really just be super enticed by what they're saying and what they're doing, and you'll want to know more. You'll want to know why. And I think that that's just so cool. And I think that one of the main benefits of Obsidian is that you are able to really deep dive into these topics and create stuff that's just really, really fucking out there. Like, you can really go deep as you want into a topic and create a super nested forest of ideas. But you can also do it in public, right? So you can post this stuff to a website like GitHub, for example, where I'm planning on hosting this stream repo. But I'm going to do all of this, kind of do the setup. I think today I might do certain parts of it off stream because that might involve like environment variables and passwords and stuff. But I'm going to set up the lion's share of it, I think, on this stream. But the idea is that, you take the blogs that were built basically on stream, turn those into like blogs that go on the main website, and then use those to bring more people to the stream, and then just kind of like go back and forth between those. And I think that kind of how do I put it, flywheel effect is actually pretty powerful. I think that they kind of, like I said, they play off of each other really well. It's not perfect. I mean, there's a lot of cons in the sense that obviously you have to do it and you have to find something interesting to talk about, but in reality, the whole world is filled with interesting things. And I think that, if I've learned anything from kind of Obsidian writing over the past couple months now, and building creative code projects and stuff like that as well, a lot of it is just kind of like finding stuff that's interesting and really deep diving into those topics, and then finding the entertainment within that topic. And I know that sounds ridiculous, but why are people into things to begin with? I think that especially in the field of entertainment, there isn't really anything that's inherently, well, I guess that's not true, but there's inherent things that are like entertaining, but I think anything can be entertaining. And I think that that's the hypothesis that I'm looking to attempt to understand with this. I also just want a bunch of VODs, basically, from Twitch. I've played around with hosting my own streams before with Cloudflare. Opening up the link. Yeah, I've played around with using Cloudflare Stream in the past to do live streaming, but it gets really expensive, and there's a big part of this is marketing, right? Like there's no one on your personal website to begin with. So I could build Twitch into my website. I could do that. I have the capability to build a live streaming experience on my platform. But I think that the effort it would take to do stuff like that would very quickly be spent better by and maybe I will in the future. I can't close that door. I think that I love, again, like one of the reasons that I made my own website to begin with and put so much effort into it is that I really do love ownership over one's work. I think it's really critical to, kind of plant your flag, as it were, on the internet. And, you are planting a flag when you have a Twitter or a Twitch or whatever, but you're not really planting a flag. You're planting a flag on that company's intranet, that company's database, right? Which can be a big flag, they might carry your flag around and become your flag bearer. And I think that that's, again, one of the websites like, Twitch and YouTube and stuff like that, even though Twitch apparently sucks with discoverability, so I'm not expecting to have people actually pay attention to this shit for a while. But being able to plant your flag in your own website and then having it having these things as distribution networks, I think, is valuable. So having things like YouTube and a Twitter and a Twitch and stuff like that serve as kind of like arms for your business, but not actually the core of your business. So the goal of the business is to obviously make money and to build something interesting and to provide people value. I think that's the number one thing. And if you can provide that value in a way that's enticing, then that's cool, all the better. So let's just do it. So I'm going to hop back into Obsidian.